Yeah. Oh, wait, hang on.
I knew it was going to be Ian as soon as you came in. I don't know why. What? What? He's just like popping up all the time. Standing over there, looking at you.
Okay, there we go. Check. Mic check.
Hello.
Check. There we go. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Zinged podcast. I am Jack.
And I'm Nicole.
Welcome back to the live after show for Big Brother. We are coming to you straight on the internet on YouTube after every Big Brother episode airs. Also, check out our podcast. It will be available right after the episode on iTunes, also on Spotify at Zing Podcast. Also, make sure you interact with us on our socials.
Which is Zinged Pod on both Instagram and Twitter.
All right. Well, tonight I'm actually starting to like the episodes.
They're starting to get a little
exciting.
better. Yeah. Especially because, well, I knew what was going on in the house. I was like, oh, I really hope they show it. So, which they did. They started to. So,
yeah, some
it's starting
drama.
to get good. It's starting to get really good in the house.
Finally. I mean, at one point, all these alliances were going to have to turn on each other. Everybody was going to have to start pointing guns around. Let's jump right into the Bailey and Davon thing, right? I mean,
yeah.
So I thought it was a smart move of them in the beginning to try to pin basically the big alliance in the house against each other. I think that was the first move. They were trying to throw shade at Tyler, in my opinion, against Danny to try to mix up that alliance. With the commission, right?
With the
committee.
Was
it the commission? Or the committee, yeah.
Yeah.
They're basically trying to throw a grenade in the committee and hopefully try to stir up enough trouble that maybe they could save themselves. I don't think it worked out in their plan, but
yeah,
it almost did, though.
It almost did.
So, I mean, post-noms, it seemed to me that Bailey had kind of already given up. I don't know, did you get that vibe?
Yeah, it kind of seems like, well, even like, yeah, right after the nomination, she just went up to Davon and was like, all right, see you later. Like, I'm just going to go home.
I mean, that was frustrating for me to watch as a fan because that's really when you're supposed to turn on your game and you're supposed to fight.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are like, right when they get on the block, like, all right, we're going home. But in Bailey's defense, she doesn't know this yet, but our man Swaggy C did just buy Davon a Tesla 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
To give to
Tesla.
her on
Okay.
Friday when she gets home.
Well, I guess it sounds like she's going home. But then really, though, I mean, I was kind of frustrated because this is All-Stars. And
are they really all-stars, though? They're kind of not really
agreed.
proving it. This.
You're right, they're not all-stars. But it seems like and it's still, even the fight we just watched, which we'll get into, is that they can't separate personal and game. I mean, Bailey is reacting so emotionally and taking it so personally that she's mentally and physically unable to get herself off the block and survive this week because she's so upset.
But I also think, so I also kind of see where she's coming from because she never had any issues with Christmas. Like, she talked to Christmas all the time, really friendly with Christmas, and they've had a bunch of personal conversations. And the fact that she just threw her up there.
I mean, that's where Christmas comes in, though, and saying that this is Big Brother, right? Because, so Christmas is in an alliance that Bailey and Davon aren't in, and Bailey and Davon have been talking about targeting people in her alliance. So it comes simply down to they're not in the alliance. They're a threat to Christmas's alliance. And Christmas doesn't owe them that, like, hey, let me spill out my whole game to you.
Yeah, which I mean,
Julie
I get.
can do that. Julie, when they're sitting outside on the couch.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking, is that you can't just take it personally. You have to realize, like, okay, she's making a game move. I can't take it personally. I've got to fight. I've got to figure out some way to get myself off the block.
Well, yes, but I also, so on Bailey's side things too, but she even tried to like explain to her and the fight, which happens later on in the week. Like she tries to be like, hey, like even when she went up to talk to Christmas, she was like, it was a good game move, but she was like, I honestly, like, she's like, my feelings are kind of hurt, though. And she's like, tried to talk to Christmas, which later on in the week, her trying to talk to Christmas doesn't really work out for her too well. But I mean, I get it. I mean, like, she did say, like, yes, this was a good game move, but she was like, I personally was never coming after you, so I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, she's upset.
She's upset.
Like I said, because she doesn't know that Christmas is an alliance. So
Yeah.
she's confused. She doesn't understand what's going on. But that's why in Big Brother, you can't take it personal.
Yeah.
Right? You have to identify. And because Christmas is trying to reiterate this throughout the week, that she's like, it's not personal. It's a game move. And Bailey needs to realize that it's a game decision. She can't take it personally. And she's got to find a way to adapt and get herself out of trouble and off of the block. I mean, I think, and you see different players. So let's look at Kevin, for example.
Yep.
What have we seen Kevin do the last couple times he gets on the block?
Yeah, well, he got himself off last week.
Right?
So.
Twice. But he definitely did have a little freak out. But it was more personal. He wasn't lashing out at the house or lashing out at the HOH. Do you think Kevin would still be here if he went on a personal attack for the HOHs that had put him up?
No, but I also don't think Bailey's going on a personal attack, though. She just wanted to talk to Christmas.
I mean, from the fight.
Well, you haven't seen Bailey's side of the fight yet.
I haven't seen Bailey's side of the fight, but obviously they're both, Davon and Bailey, have been relentlessly coming at Christmas.
But I think this also comes from also, like, how
Which
Tyler...
I don't understand the game move of that, though. Like, what is berating Christmas and arguing with Christmas and fighting with Christmas about why she put them up? How is that helping them get out of the situation?
I don't think they're trying to get out of the situation at this point. I mean, at this point, like, they're already on the block.
Yeah, I mean, even before the veto, it seemed like they weren't they weren't making moves, making alliances, making deals. They were just angry at Christmas.
Well, no, because Davon made a deal with Danny and Nicole F. So they're trying to form an alliance. Which I don't get.
Let's not separate the two, though.
Well, yeah, so no, they're making moves to, like, make alliances.
Davon is.
Yeah, because, well, Davon's doing that, but that's because Bailey just thinks she's out of it, and I think Bailey just wants to go home.
But that's my point, is Bailey's just rolling over.
Yeah.
Bailey rolled over the second she got put on the block, which is embarrassing, because her game is garbage. But Davon, on the other hand, don't mix up the two.
Yeah.
Davon's been out there making moves.
But you said that both of them were not trying to make moves.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that both of them were definitely attacking Christmas. But Davon, on the other hand, has been making moves.
Yeah.
Bailey's strategy since being on the block is like, I'm just going to come at Christmas and then, like, be angry and sulk. But yeah. Davon, it looks like Davon's making moves.
Which I think is making the wrong move, because Danny's definitely coming after her, so...
Mm-hmm. It's not the right move. But I have to give her some love in that it looks like she's actively trying to make gameplay moves, right?
Yeah.
She sees that she's in trouble. She's on the block. She's wheeling and dealing. And, I mean, you saw a couple of her speeches when she sat with Christmas. And I'll give her that before the blow up in the house. And that was a good scene in the love room when she's really trying to work Christmas.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm going to tell her whatever she wants to hear, right? I'm going to, basically just tell her that, I'm not coming after her in the house. Like, I don't know. I felt like Day was making some game moves. A little disappointed in Bailey, though.
That's okay. She's not really the best player either, anyway. But Davon definitely is impressing me this season. Because going into it, I didn't really like her that much from her past seasons. But I'm definitely starting to like Davon a lot more, so I hope she pulls through and she stays tomorrow night.
What is Davon's angle? Is it she pulling for the gender alliance thing? It seems like that's what her angle is right now. And it seems like she's the only one on that ship that's like, we need to keep a woman in, women's alliance, and like everyone else is kind of like, well, we're already in alliances. Like, we don't.
I think she's just trying to keep herself in the house.
Yeah. You think that's it?
I think that could just be it. Like, she's just trying to keep herself in the house.
So who Davon?
Yeah.
Who's Davon going to align herself with?
I think she's going to try to align herself with Nicole and Danny, but that's
what I was thinking too.
Not going to be a good move for her because they're just going to get her out first chance that they get.
And so what do you think about her throwing Tyler under the bus?
I mean, I think it was...
Davon now going on campaign, anti-Tyler campaign.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was smart on her because she doesn't have any, like, loyalty to Tyler at all. Well, now she kind of does, but But no, I think that was like good on her part because she was like, hey, like I'm just gonna squash the bug to be like, hey, this is where I'm hearing the information from. Like I know Bailey's not gonna like out people, but she's like, I'm not afraid to out people.
The part that I struggle with in this is that Tyler is Christmas's number 2. So of all the people that you want to throw under the bus and that you want to try to start issues with in the house,
But Tyler has final twos with everybody, so nobody knows who Tyler's.
Oh, that's true. But Tyler and Christmas are pretty close. I mean, do we just know that as fans? Do you
I think
not
we
think?
just know. Yeah, I don't
do you
think
not think the
anyone
house
really,
sees that Tyler and Christmas are
because
close?
Tyler like mostly hangs out with like Cody and Enzo every day.
Okay, so I can see that if they don't think they're close, because that was the part that I was struggling with.
Yeah, I don't think they know that they're working
Was like,
together.
okay, of all the players that you want to maybe start some drama with, and try to get out of
like
the
I
house.
don't even think like Danny knows, because when Danny went to Christmas to tell her all that, like Christmas was like, okay, yeah, and she's like, no, I'm not doing that.
So I would propose to you this question: Bailey and Davon are on the block, right?
Yep.
Your team, Bailey and Davon. You're sitting there. You're trying to strategize, and you're trying to think who would be the third person. Who is Christmas's third biggest target? Like, who could we possibly get Christmas riled up enough to put instead of us? Who would that person be?
Honestly, don't even know. Like, I mean, obviously for Bailey and Devon, it was because all the drama with Danny that they were like, oh, let's throw Tyler under the bus, because Tyler was starting all. Well, not that he wasn't even really starting the drama, because he was just telling them the truth.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, they definitely had some fodder and some ammunition on Tyler.
Yeah, on Tyler.
I just looking back now as we're talking about the episode, I think it was maybe just a misfire. In that, like, I'm trying to think out loud now, like, who would be a better person to try to cause problems that Christmas would have potentially put up.
No, because the only people that she's not working with are David and Kevin. And those two are floaters. Oh, and Ian. Oh, no, she's working with Ian. Yeah, she's working with Ian. So, yeah, so it's Kevin or David. So her two biggest targets are sitting on the block. So
I think, again, you can't hate on the other side of the house. The commission or the committee, they're playing a good game. Again, if Bailey and Davon go into see Julia on Thursday and don't know about the committee, I mean, I think that'll answer all their questions.
Yeah, it will.
Right? And I'm impressed if the committee and commission's going this far and everyone's getting kind of blindsided and doesn't know that they're working together. I'm just pretty impressed.
That is pretty impressive.
I mean, Kesar figured it out, but
yeah, Kesar. They all have it figured out except for Memphis. Memphis is like the secret guy, which he's just until this morning he was laying low. So
what happened this morning?
He was making fun of Ian this morning.
Oh.
Him, Nicole, and Danny were sitting there making fun of him, like rocking back and forth. But I'm sure they won't show it tomorrow night. But that's what was happening in the house this morning. So not happy with it.
The only thing that I wrote down that I thought was weird was when Danny is talking to Christmas, and Danny spun it as Tyler is coming after all of the girls, which I don't think is a fair characterization.
I don't think it is, because the only girl he's coming after is Danny.
Yeah.
So he's just coming after
Danny,
her.
It's Danny trying to play.
Yeah. Where Tyler's really just coming after her.
Yeah.
Like he's...
Well, and that's why I thought it fell on deaf ears at Christmas, because Christmas is like, okay, Danny, you're trying to tell me that Tyler's secretly trying to come after all the women when, like, he's my number 2 ride or die till the end. Like, come on.
Yeah. And Christmas is like you've been in my ear all week.
Like,
being like, let's put up Bailey and Davon.
All right, let's jump into the DR award before we go talk about the veto.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what time stamp?
13:45. Who's winning it? I don't even know. I don't feel like there's really anything like noteworthy.
I don't know.
I don't feel like there's really any noteworthy DRs.
Tyler?
No, because we're going to talk about Tyler a lot in Rumor Mill.
All right, want to just skip it?
I'm texting Liz, see who should win Diary Room Award, get viewer experience.
We're going live to the internet.
I know.
Send us in right now. We're trying to figure out who should win the Diary Room Award. So send us in your message right now, and we will.
I'm trying to think. There really wasn't
Uh,
anybody doing a good diary room, so maybe we should just skip it.
in the beginning of the episode, though, I'm trying to think like between the Danny thing with Christmas, Davon, Bailey, like there wasn't any good DRs.
No.
I feel like, well, I like Davon's one when Davon was talking to Christmas in the love room.
Was that a diary room though? Or-
Yeah, because when she cut away, after she was like trying to pressure her, that she was like, you know, you need to use the veto. You know, like, isn't it crazy how it just works this way? Like, it's gonna work out. It's gonna work. All right, we
Lizzie
can
says
just skip
maybe
it.
Nicole's reaction to the outfit. Which we do have to talk about Nicole too.
All right, let's just skip
Yeah.
it.
Or let's just do Nicole's reaction to the outfit.
All right, you do
Say
it.
it was a Lizzie.
All right, you run with it, dog.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Tonight's Diary Room Award goes to... Break for drum roll. She's at 16. 3, 2, 1. Nicole Franzel. Pause for yay. So nothing too crazy Diary Room Award wise. I think just the funniest moment had to be just Nicole getting her unitard. Living it up for a third season wearing a unitard inside the Big Brother house.
I think she was a little disappointed this wasn't some cute little
Yeah.
leotard. It
Yeah,
looks
no.
like a giant, uncomfortable costume.
Fake hair and everything attached to it.
I think production's really going to try to come out and really start poking the players right now to try to get them to snap. I think
Yep.
everybody's starting to reach their boiling points.
And I think, so also, because I saw this also on Twitter, just conversations between her and Cody. So I guess everyone complained so much because when Janelle got punished, she never actually really wore the star. She wore like the dress that went underneath the star, but never really wore like the big poofy star
Oh, really?
ever. And she never got in trouble for it. Probably because she's Janelle. So I guess production like sat down Nicole and was like, you have to wear this at all times besides sleeping.
I would be sleeping all the time then.
I know, I'd just be like, I'm never getting out of bed.
Yeah, because I'm not walking around that giant stupid thing. It looks really uncomfortable.
Yeah, so of course Nicole's complaining about that because, you know, it was Janelle related. But yeah, it looks super uncomfortable. Definitely not the best unitard they've
Well, that's why I
had.
think, of course, for the social media thing, right? I think that was a total play. And we'll get into the veto after this, but we can roll right into the veto from this. But
Yeah, we'll
right,
go
I mean, a total play on the social media influencer, right? I'm gonna give up the $5,000 award, and I'm gonna take the punishment, which was ridiculous. Even Day was like, "There's no way I would do that
Yeah,
for
I
you."
wouldn't do that, yeah.
Why does she think that she owes her $5,000? I don't understand.
I think it was really...
Why?
it
What
was-
would she possibly owe her $5,000 for?
I think it's a good move on Nicole's part because it, like, smooths over the water with her.
With who?
Because she was like... Because I guess any, like, tension that's in the house, like, she'll be like, oh, like, she can use it as, like, leverage. So she's like, I gave you $5,000.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it definitely could
Or in, like,
secure a
in the-
jury vote.
Exactly. In Nicole's case, she was like, you secured me $500,000 4 summers ago. So here's, like, $5,000 back in, return.
True.
So it's a good way to, like, smooth over. So I think it was a really good move on Nicole's part.
It seems like a bit of a blatant play towards the social media thing, though. Like, I want to wear the leotard because you get the airtime.
Yep.
You know you're going to be on TV. So I kind of thought it was
I mean, she's
funny.
also Nicole Franzel. She's going to get on TV either way.
True.
So.
Well, that's fair. But that's why I thought it was a little ironic when she was all excited to get the costume and it wasn't some cute leotard thing. It was like this giant boxy costume. And she was like, oh my.
Oh. Yeah,
But
no,
yeah.
but I think it was a good game move on Nicole's part for that.
Definitely secured her a vote, I guess, at the end, which would be worth it. It just seemed, I don't know. To me, it seemed very blatant. Just, I don't know what the word is. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think it was really good game move on Nicole's part. So
well, let's talk about the veto then. I mean, I thought the veto competition was really good.
I like that one. But what I don't get is like poor
Were you
Ian.
doing the PEMDAS in your head?
Yes.
The order of operations?
I was, which that was
Okay,
actually like
yeah.
really hard because every single one was ending in like 12 or like 14, so I would have gotten out probably pretty quick. I would like panic and jump on it. But what I don't understand is why couldn't they have just replaced Ian? Like Ian got withdrawn from the competition like pretty far in advance. Why couldn't they just put up another player to play in the veto? That's what confused me.
That is weird. What have they done in the past? But I feel like they haven't done.
No
that
one's
in the
really
past.
like dropped out in the past.
No, well, Christmas, right?
Well, no, she just wasn't eligible to compete.
Oh, that's right. They totally just.
She just wouldn't be able to play at all.
That's true. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe that was the first time it's happened.
Yeah, so it was like really because it's not like he like dropped out like right beforehand, and it's an easy comp too where you could just throw someone in there.
Oh, I felt bad for him. I was hoping.
I know,
Seemed
I
like
feel
he'd be
bad
great at that one too. A math.
I know.
It's a
like,
math competition. Ian missed out in the math competition.
Yeah, that's why I was like, as soon as he was out, like you knew Christmas was winning this thing.
Oh, that's what I thought too. I was honestly a little disappointed though in the competition. I thought that Bailey and Devon were going to put up a battle. It was going to be a lot closer. Seemed like nerves got the best of them, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, but
They both just jumped the gun and lost. I mean, they basically took themselves out of the competition.
yeah, and that was like worst case scenario for Danny and Nicole too, who wanted to like throw it to them, because like obviously if you finish in last place, you're winning the veto right off the bat. So it's like if Danny and Nicole didn't finish like 5th and 4th, then they were like screwed, and they would show like their true colors pretty much.
Smart move by Productions Point too, I think, because this is one of those games where if you think people are going to walk out and try to throw it, you have to throw out some prizes and punishments.
Exactly.
So if you're in essence, you're going to be rewarded if you actually play and do well in the game. But if you think you're going to walk out there and throw it to somebody, well, you're going to end up in a tough spot. Could even maybe potentially cost you some of your game, depending on what the punishments were. But
That's true. Which none of the this is
They
usually
weren't
the
too
one where you
bad.
get like a unitard or something.
also, though, with Ian out, we missed another punishment probably,
That's true.
right? Because normally wouldn't there have been another negative?
No, because
Or would it have been a trip or something?
there probably would have been like a trip somewhere.
Yeah, like a trip to Hawaii or
Yeah, they usually
wherever
send
they
you on
go.
a trip somewhere. Maybe they'll send them to Love Island. Who knows?
Wow.
But no, I thought it was a good veto cup. I always liked that one because they always do like different. Like I know, like one year it was like it was like words that rhymed with go, but you can only go like when it said go.
Oh yeah.
So that one was pretty hard.
Yeah. I don't know. Overall, it was a good design.
And you don't
I
know
was
how
hoping to
long
see
they're
a
actually
little bit-
sitting there too, like waiting.
Yeah. I was hoping that it would have been a little more entertaining, a little more close of a competition. I mean, kind of from a viewer standpoint, when Bailey and Devon got out right away,
Yeah, it was just like,
I feel like the two people on the block took themselves out of the game instantly. Like,
I know.
I mean, I was surprised that they weren't more upset with themselves.
You could tell Devon was like really upset with herself.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't really get to see any reactions or anything
That's true.
afterwards. But I feel like that would haunt me. I mean, like coming into the next day or two, I wouldn't be out there yelling at Christmas. I would be upset at myself. Like, I just messed up my entire Big Brother game,
Yeah.
adding the 13.
13.
That would just drive me nuts.
That would drive me
All right, so
nuts,
let's
too.
roll into after the veto. Tyler.
Let's save that for rumor slop. We'll go into rumor slop.
Okay.
Tyler.
All right.
Let's go in that.
All right. Let's roll right into what time check we got here.
23:06.
All right, let's roll right into Rumor Slop, Nicole. Rumor Slop is our segment where we dive in to Reddit, we dive into Twitter, we dive in the forums, comment sections. We dive in and get the nitty gritty, the dirt on what's happening in the Big Brother world, what's happening with previous guests, what's dirty rumors are going on out there, and just the trash people are talking on the internet. We'll dive through it all and bring to you what we got, fact or fiction. It's not always good, but it's not always nice, but we'll bring it straight to you live right here on Zing Podcast. All right,
go.
Nicole.
All right, I got the rumor.
This is a good one.
This one is a good one. I kind of think it's true, honestly, after watching this episode. So we'll go into what happened with Tyler. So Tyler's seen like he's all like upset, and they show like the montage of him like talking to the cameras, talking about how he misses Angela, and you can kind of tell like he is like acting different in the house. Like he just seems like very down and like upset. So then he like thinks about it, and he's like, all right, like I'm the reason why Bailey and Devon are on the block. And then he went up to go talk to them, and he was like, you two like both want it, and like for everything that's going on like outside the Big Brother house and inside the Big Brother house, like what you guys are doing stands for a lot more than just me being here. And he was like, and I miss Angela. So he's like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Christmas to take one of you off, and I'm going to put myself up on the block.
We need to talk more about this after Rumor, because this is ridiculous in my opinion. This is Big Brother, so we'll get into that. This scene absolutely blew my mind. Tyler deserves to go home tomorrow.
Yep. So then the moment he walks out of the have not room, which they didn't show in the episode, but like on the live feeds, the moment he walked outside or walked out of the have not room, production or Big Brother instantly calls him into the diary room. So he's in the diary room for a while. And then I guess they sent him up to go talk to Christmas, but the feeds like cuts. You don't see. So like his conversation with Christmas kind of like solidified it. So the rumor that's going around is they're saying that that it's against the rules for him to tell Christmas to take someone off the block and put himself up. And so they called him in there and they were like, no, you can't do this.
They might have just said, though, that if you take yourself out of the game, we're not going to pay you.
Yeah, so that's what they're also saying. Like, there's like a stipend for him to go in the house. Mm-hmm. So they're thinking, like, if he does that, like, which honestly, with how miserable Tyler looks, I don't think he's really there to get his money. Especially if I was that miserable, I'd want to like leave. I'd just be like, see you later. But they were telling him it's against the rules. You cannot do this. So then when he goes up and they actually air his conversation with Christmas, he's kind of just like he's like beating around the bush, trying to tell her, like, hey, throw me up there.
I mean, I don't know. I could see production telling him you can't. You don't want to mess with the game, right?
Yeah, like they were telling him he's breaking the rules of Big Brother.
And
by doing this.
Again, we talk about production meddling in the game sometimes, but I think this is one of those times where, in a sense, I see production here as protecting the integrity of the game. Because production is like, we want the game to be played out. Because you're having some weird emotional moment, we're not going to let you dictate and mess up what's happening in the game right now.
That's also true, but like you can't like hold him a prisoner though either.
Well, no, and this is why I think they said, you want to leave the game, you're welcome to pack up your bags and walk out of the house.
I don't think they're letting him do that. I think he has to stay in the house.
No, of course you can walk out anytime. You can pick up your bags and walk out of the Big Brother house. You're not a...
They're all under contract though, so it's
true.
Whatever's in their contract.
Well, I mean, it would probably just cost him money.
Yeah.
It would cost him money. But he can literally walk out of the house right now if he wanted to. I think they're just saying that, like, hey, you need to remember that part of your contract is to let the integrity of the game play out. So you can't have a bad week and be like, hey, I want to go home next week. So, hey, all of USA, all the US, everybody watching the show, don't worry about the next week's 3 episodes because I've already decided I want to go home. I think that's what they're saying. They're saying, like, if you want to pick up and take yourself out of the game, go ahead. But you can't mess up a whole week of Big Brother gameplay because you're having a bad day.
Yeah, but I don't know.
So I think they're two different things. You can pull yourself out of the game, but you can't mess with the integrity of the game.
But I think he's like trying to pull himself out of the game and they're not letting him do it.
I think he was trying to mess with the integrity of the game. I think he was like, I feel guilty, I feel bad, I want to mess up everything that's been happening this week, and I want to take myself out of the house.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's just trying to leave, and production's not letting him.
I don't know. It's a weird scenario.
It's a very weird scenario. But he looks like, you could even tell, like, in everything that he did, like, he looks miserable.
He does look miserable. You're right. I can see that.
Which sucks, but...
Yeah, I think I don't know. A weird situation. I don't think that... I think this is appropriate for them to step in and say you can't mess with the game like that. Again, and you could leave the Big Brother house, but you can't mess with the game. Two different things.
Yeah.
Pick up your bags and walk out. We won't pay you your money. You're good to go.
I wonder if he even tried to do that, and they're probably like, no.
Well, no.
So I think at that day, like, he was like, I'm out. Like, see you later. And I think they talked to him, and they're like, you can't do this.
Well, this is when it's interesting, right? Yeah. This is when the cabin fever sets in, when you've been in the house a while, that the have-not life starts taking toll on you. Lack of sleep. I mean, we're seeing Ian getting a little stressed out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think, the game is starting to come to that point where alliances are going to start to turn to each other. I think he has just hit this giant emotional crescendo where Tyler's realized that all these people that he's made deals with, he's starting to have some deja vu from last time.
Well, I think he was also like saying like he's been thinking about it for a while, and he's like, I've been miserable for a while, and he's like, I'm trying to like fall back in love with why I love Big Brother, and he's like, it's just not happening.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, I think the cast this year though is kind of going to play with that.
Yeah,
We're not seeing. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's just not as much camaraderie.
yeah, it doesn't really
Did you
seem
get
like
that?
it. Just yeah,
You know what I mean? It seems like everybody's kind of like in their own. I feel like
yeah.
Tyler.
I mean, like,
Tyler
on the
needs a
live feeds,
friend.
they all just keep saying they're like, oh yeah, like I'm bored. Like they're all just like, I'm so bored.
Yeah, I feel like Tyler doesn't really have a friend.
Yeah, that's true.
You need somebody to hang out with.
But yeah, so poor Tyler. If he's trying to get out of the house and they're keeping him here, I'd feel really bad if they're trying to do that.
Wow. I mean, it's always weird to talk about production trying to meddle in the game. But I think for once, I think this is justified.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd still be a good move. He's a big target in the house, so if you get him out, it's still a big. Even if he is putting himself up.
Yeah. Well, and people keep messing with the house. Apparently, there was another banner that flew over.
Yeah, well, there's that one guy who went like live saying he like yelled at the wall, but he just yelled that like David got a power. I'm like, nobody freaking cares
Well, that
about
too,
David.
yeah. So we watched a guy. Nicole brought up a video last week. There's a guy that pulls up his car on the side of a highway. It looks like a 2-lane highway, and the Big Brother house is close by. This guy gets out of his car and screams over the house. What does he yell?
He's like, he said something about the alliances, but he said his main point that he screamed to get across was that David has a power.
Yeah.
And then obviously security comes to chase him, so he like runs away.
So, but then he's sitting in his car
And he's like,
on
oh,
this
I
2-lane
just did
highway,
it.
and he's
He like
he's
talks
got
about his whole
security is
run.
chasing him, and he's looking at security, watching the cars chase him as he goes by. I mean, it was really entertaining.
It was really entertaining,
I mean,
but
these people out there, you BB fans out there, are getting pretty savage and finding the BB house, flying
Which-
banners over the house. I
crazy.
mean,
Just let them play the game. That's what's kind of annoying.
yeah, that's true.
Let them play the game. Even though they are really bad at it this year, just let them play it.
Well, are we going to see? I'm surprised that their discussion around powers hasn't come up, right? So I think that would be the big twist if you were Bailey and Davon, your back is against the wall, is maybe you start trying to pry around the house and figure out who has these powers,
Has them, yeah.
right? And maybe if you get the right person, like David, who has a power,
Yeah.
you make a deal with him or any of the people that have a power, and you try to finagle yourself off the block.
Exactly.
But it seems like that is not in play.
I don't
There
think
is
David
no-
knows how to use it, though. We've had this
That's
conversation
true.
because he should have used it to save Bailey or Davon.
Maybe
But
beat a dead horse, but it's like Bailey. I think Bailey's got to go home.
yeah,
It's gonna happen.
I think so, unfortunately. All right, but that's the only rumor I have.
Yeah, I
No,
don't have.
okay.
I don't have
Yeah.
a lot this
But
week.
that was like the big one.
Yeah, that was a
Which,
lot. Well,
after watching this episode, I'm kind of thinking, like, yeah.
okay, well, we have another one though. Why don't we talk about the fight?
Well, they could show that tomorrow, though. So let's just wait till tomorrow. We can talk about it tomorrow.
Well, I still think we should talk about it.
They haven't
Because
aired
they
it
might,
yet.
They might not air it.
Well, if they don't air it, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
So we don't want to say it.
No.
Okay, well, there's a big fight.
Big fight.
Big fight coming in the house. They have to air it. I'm afraid that they might not though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they.
But should be interesting. But heads up, everybody, stay tuned, and yeah, we'll talk about it on.
Or if you like really want to, there's videos of the whole
Yeah,
fight.
well, we can talk about it tomorrow. Yeah, right. If it does or does not air, that would. I mean, I think that would be pretty big time conspiracy if they don't air it.
Yeah,
That would seem ridiculous to me.
that would be.
But big time fight coming. Get ready to hear the bells ringing. Ding ding.
Yep.
We're gonna have a Jerry Springer fight on BB.
Yeah. Are you ready to go into bromance showman's back door?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's jump in the bromance showman's back door.
All right. 3346. Oh, your mom sent an update, so pause. Oh yeah, they're making progress.
Okay,
So
good.
All right.
Whose turn is it?
You gave me some last time, so I'll give you.
Okay. You want to take the intro too?
Also, Lexi, yeah, let's say it. But Lexi said, "Guys, this is everything I hate, but I think I love Love Live, or I like Love Live."
I have to tell her I watched it last night. Just say Jack watched it last night. Jack just confessed he watched it last night.
I think Lizzie's watching the live, so she'll probably say it too. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome everyone to Bromance Showmance Backdoor. Like we always say, it's just like F, Marry, Kill, but with a big brother twist. So, Jack, are you ready for tonight's 3 contestants?
All right, send it my way.
All right, you got Memphis, Cody, Enzo.
Memphis, Cody, and Enzo. The Bro Squad.
Yep.
Okay. Here is my 3 picks. I feel like I might have done this one before.
I feel like we're running out of players, so
Yeah,
we're gonna start
so,
repeating.
Well, anyway, I'll give you here's my 3. Bromance, Showmance, Backdoor. Bromance, definitely going to be with my boy Enzo. I feel like meow meow, gang gang. He's a New York guy. I'm a Jersey guy, also a New York guy. But I feel like we get along really well. I feel like I'd have a lot of fun with him. He seems hilarious. I mean, just the stories he was telling about the crayon, being a crayon salesman. You know, selling, what was he selling? Typewriters or what kind of other shit
Typewriters.
was
Used
he
to live
selling?
in a basement.
He's just a character, man. I would love to hang out with this guy in the house. I think he'd be a blast. Memphis would be Showmance with Memphis. I feel like he's super down to earth. I think he's playing one of the best games right now. Socially, he's just set himself up in a great spot where he's in a big alliance, but he doesn't have a lot of heat on him.
Yeah, like he's just sitting back watching it all happen.
So he's just really sitting back right now. And I don't want to say floater because he's really made moves to get himself in this position. Right?
Yeah.
He hasn't just been blindly floating. He's like manipulated his way into a very safe spot in the house. So I'd feel safe with him. And unfortunately, backdoor I'd have to throw Cody again. I hate throwing shade at Cody, but something about
the man
Cody.
while he's down.
Well, I said this the last time I backdoored him too. That there was something about him from the last season that he was in that I can't put my finger on it. But there's something about Cody that just doesn't seem right. It seems off.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel like I wouldn't be able to trust him. And I feel like it's because he's not able to in any way be manipulative or play Big Brother.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if someone asks him a question, he just shuts down and he's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But, you know, you can't play Big Brother with somebody like that.
That's true.
It's very too new school BB for me.
Way
So
too new school.
he's getting backdoored.
All right.
Sorry, Cody.
There we go.
All right. So let's get back to the Tyler thing here at the end, right?
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I get that he's having a rough time.
Yeah.
I get that he's struggling and he wants to go home. But how does that tie into him being some sort of sacrificial lamb for Bailey and Davon? Why can't he just say, "Hey, I want to leave the game"?
Well, I think there was like more to it than what they aired. So I think he was like, "Hey, like I'm not feel like I don't want to be here anymore." And he was like, "And you two are here to prove something, and to like you guys are representing something." He's like, "And one of you is going to go home." When he's like, "Where I'm sitting here, I'm not enjoying myself." So I was like, "So why should I stay when you guys are doing that?" And he also had this gateway where he was like, "Well, I feel like I created all this drama for you." So he's like, "Let me try to take one for you guys, and then you two can continue to play the game."
It was a bold move. It was a very, very new BB game. I don't know what it was. Actually, it transcends any sort of BB game. It was just him giving up.
Yeah.
Super disappointing to see because it just instantly made me lose all credibility in his game. I thought, okay, well, Tyler gave up. Tyler's out now.
Yeah, Tyler's
So-
out. But I don't know. But then again, like he can't like force Christmas to do anything.
No, but it's
But-
not a good look for long-term gameplay, right?
Exactly. Like if I was
Because-
Christmas and you saw how like miserable he was, and you'd be like, "All right, this is who I'm supposed to have a final 2 with."
Right? And also, though, you go to Final 2, though, I mean, and he's like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
All negative. I mean, also, other people in the house, like, everybody's in the same situation, right? Everybody's stressed. Everybody's missing
Yeah.
their family. You got to find a way to come together in that house. You can't just roll over and be like,
Yeah.
I don't like it. I digress. So,
Yeah.
what's your hot take though on here? This is what kind of blew me away was after he has this conversation, He basically gives up his entire game, entire summer on a silver platter to Bailey and Davon. Blows my mind. But regardless of that, what is your take on Bailey's reaction?
What do you mean? Like,
In that Bailey is still super upset at Tyler and wants Tyler's head on a silver platter.
so I don't.
Why?
They never actually like she never actually like said that. I don't feel like in the episode. I think Davon used that because she already had the leverage of like Tyler blew up our games when she was talking to Christmas. Like she was like, oh, I'm just gonna keep feeding her that like we're not going after Christmas. We're gonna go after Tyler because they don't know that she's working with Tyler.
Yeah.
So I think that was just her, Bailey or Davon just trying to like still cushion everything with Christmas, which all that's out the window now. But yeah, I just don't think that she knew that. I don't think Day knew that Christmas was working with Tyler. So all the stuff she was saying to Christmas about Tyler is just gonna backfired on them.
It seemed from the timing perspective, though, it seemed like this happened after that.
Yeah, so I
And
think
it seems like this happened after Tyler went in and had that conversation.
with Christmas.
No,
Like,
no,
put
no.
me
Well,
up.
had the conversation with Bailey and
Yeah.
Day. But then even like after that conversation, Bailey was still like, F Tyler, I'm holding a grudge against Tyler, which to me seemed like such a ignorant, bitter game move of like, I can't let go of a personal issue I have with Tyler, and this guy's literally going to come in and give me the game, let me stay in the game and sacrifice his own game, but she still can't get it out of her head.
Well, I think she just also played with him in BB20, so she was still like, yes, she appreciated like the gesture and the move, but she didn't 100% like believe it till it happened because she played with him before. So he could have been doing all this stuff in BB20 that didn't make it on TV.
Well, he seemed genuine,
Yeah.
but again, I think it was up to Christmas. So I mean, and Christmas is obviously like, well, it's my POV, my HOH. I'm not going to backdoor my number 2 right-hand man and
But I also feel
save the
like-
2 people I just put on the block. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. I also feel like if Tyler was like 100% direct, because he like beat around the bush with her, which I think because this was after he had the conversation with production. So he beat around the bush with her trying to be like, yep, just put me up. Instead of like, if he would have gone like straight from his conversation with Bailey and Davon and like went into Christmas and directly told her like, hey, I'm miserable, send me home.
Wouldn't have changed anything.
I feel like it could have.
Christmas still would have been like, I'm not going to sacrifice. Like, okay, if you want to leave, again, you can pick up your bags and walk out of the house. But I'm not going to sacrifice and ruin Christmas's game because you want to go home right now. And I think that's what production was. I swear, I think that's what production was trying to tell him too. That pick up your bag and walk out of the house. But you can't screw up everybody else's game and this week of Big Brother because you're having a bad day.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he was trying to go, and she's just. I feel like if he would have been direct with her, she would have given it more consideration, at least, to put him up and send him home.
I think her mind was already set up.
Yeah.
She had the power. It's up to her. I don't think Tyler could have convinced her at all.
I feel like if he was more direct, he could have been able to at least been able to sway it. But this way, he had to like beat around the bush and be like, "Hey, like, please send me home. Like, I'm trying to go home."
Well, want to jump into our predictions for next week?
Sure.
All right. So, did you have any spoilers? I guess you don't.
No.
You don't know who's going home. So,
Nope.
all right, walk me through it, Nicole. What's going to happen on Thursday night? Walk me through the campaigning, the setup, and then who's going home.
I just think Bailey's going home. I feel like, especially with how things have gone this week, there's no chance they're going to vote Davon out over Bailey. I think Bailey's walking out the door tomorrow.
Is there any campaigning going on?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty much like known that they're all just going to vote Davon or keep Davon in.
Well, I think she deserves it.
Yep.
I agree. I think
I feel like she's playing a better game than Bailey right now. So
she has. And this whole week, and that's what I have to give them, and that's what I was always curious to see when you get these two, when you get a final two or a pair like this, like showmance or a pair, you want to see how they're going to shake up. And sometimes there literally is no campaigning or game moves. They will literally isolate and just await who will go home.
Yep.
But I have to give it to Davon. She's been out there making alliances, trying to make moves, and even not just looking out for herself. Right, Nicole? I mean, she's been out trying to find ways to save the two of them. without, in my opinion, without any help from Bailey.
Yeah, she hasn't really.
Davon is out trying to make and negotiate game moves to save two of them. Which I think, in the end, is going to be the reason why she saves herself. But missed opportunities on Bailey. There's been a lot. Day's been having a lot of gameplay discussions this week without Bailey there.
Yeah. That's true. I think Bailey's just ready to go home, too. I think she's in the same spot as Tyler.
It happened. She was ready to go home the second she got put on the block.
Yep.
She couldn't handle it. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it stinks. Yeah, so I definitely think I'll be surprised if Davon's walking out the door tomorrow.
Yeah, and I felt bad for Davon because Davon was even like, hey, like, you're supposed to be my ride or die, my number 2 till the end.
Yeah.
And you're giving up the first time we get put on the block? Like, 30 minutes into being put on the block, you're already giving up and crying? Like, I felt bad for Day because she was even going, bro.
Yeah,
come on. Like,
we still have the veto.
Like, geez, we still got the veto. We're supposed to go to the end. Like, you're just rolling over. Come on.
That's true.
So, tough look. But, yeah, I've won. Mama Day's won a lot of respect from me this week for her gameplay.
Yeah, I really like her this season.
Yeah.
Big fan of Davon.
Yeah, she's earned a lot from me this week, I would say. She earned a lot of clout. So, hoping that Thursday she comes. I think, we'll give it. Obviously, there's going to be a big fight.
Yep. Hopefully, the big fight.
Curious to see how much CBS is going to edit it out, but there's going to be a big old fight coming into the house.
Yep. And then I hope Davon or Ian wins the veto. Someone from the other side has to win.
I think we are, though, going to see more campaigning by Day. I think the more of what we saw tonight, I think it's going to exasperate even further. I think come tomorrow night, Nicole, it's going to be more footage of Day reaching out, trying to make connections, make game moves, and it's going to be more of Bailey pouting, angry.
Or hopefully they just air the fight in its entirety.
I would love to see that. So more to come on tomorrow, but I'm excited to see the fight tomorrow. I think it's going to be some good. We've been waiting. We needed some sort of conflict to come this season. There's been no conflict.
I will say the people that were involved in the fight, like they really calmed themselves down because they didn't want to be seen as crazy on television. So
well, nobody wants to see seen crazy
not
on TV.
Escalated, but stuff's finally hitting the fan. So
well, it's about time we get some conflict.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, so we shut it down until tomorrow?
Yep. We'll see everyone tomorrow.
Baby Kinsey on the way.
Yeah, hurry up, Kinsey. It's been a long day.
All right, everybody. We are going to shut this down. We will see you tomorrow night, live from Beach House Studios. I'm Jack.
And I'm Nicole.
Thank you for tuning into Zinged Podcast, the Big Brother After Show. Good night, everybody.
See you tomorrow. So freaking hot.
I'm sweating. Oh, God.
Mary, what did you do to the AC?
I called her. I literally called her. I was like, what happened to the air conditioning?
Do you have someone coming to look at it? How are you going to sleep tonight?
I'm going to be sweating here.
You should just go to Lauren's.